Every once in a while, the NFL gives us a moment that feels less like a victory and more like a warning shot, a reminder that a team's future can be decided not by talent, but by stubborn philosophy. What the Browns did against the Packers wasn't triumph, it was survival. And if you were watching closely, you saw it too. The cheers, the chants, the tension, it all screamed one truth. The Cleveland Browns are sitting on a franchise quarterback in Shedeur Sanders, and yet they keep choosing pride over progress. I'll be straight with you, this wasn't a celebration. That 13-10 win against Green Bay? It exposed everything broken inside Kevin Stefanski's rigid quarterback ideology. Andre Smith drilled a miraculous 55-yard game winner, but don't let that fool you. Behind the curtain, the organization is boiling. Jimmy Haslam reportedly stormed out of his suite demanding justification for why Shedeur Sanders remains glued to the bench.
Tired of boring phone cases? Here's your chance. My Etsy shop is packed with exclusive designs that let you show off your team pride in style. And the best part, you'll unlock discounts when you hit favorite, more savings when you add to cart, and even surprise discounts on your second purchase. Don't wait. Click the link in the description and grab your favorite now.
This wasn't triumph. It was negligence. Joe Flacco gave the Browns nothing. 0 touchdowns. A crushing interception. A pitiful 142 passing yards stretched across 4 uninspired quarters. Against one of the weakest secondaries in the league. The Browns' offense produced nothing meaningful until desperation time. No points through 3 quarters. No mobility. No creativity. Nothing. Meanwhile, the most talented quarterback on the roster, Shedeur Sanders, stood there with a clipboard, shackled by pride and politics. Don't confuse circumstance with strategy. This is systemic failure. Sources confirm Sanders lobbied before kickoff. He asked for Wildcat sets, red zone snaps, anything to spark the team. Stefanski shut it down, clinging to veteran stability and system familiarity. Translation: pride over progress. And that pride is eating away at the locker room. Veterans are whispering doubts about the coaching staff. Receivers are openly frustrated with stale play calling. Offensive linemen admit they can't hold blocks forever for a stationary quarterback. Post-game emotions weren't joy, they were relief. Players know they survived, not thrived. They know change isn't optional anymore, it's mandatory. The defining moment came in the fourth quarter. Down 10-0, Cleveland's only lifeline was Grant Delpit's jaw-dropping interception, handing the offense the ball at Green Bay's 28. And even then, Flacco needed 4 tries to score against a prevent defense. That's not championship football. That's survival mode. The fans told the real story. Smith's kick drew cheers, but moments later, chants for Sanders shook the stadium. "We want Shedeur" erupted from every level, even the corporate suites. Social media exploded. "Free Shedeur" trended nationwide. Viral videos captured furious fans shouting, "We won despite you, Kevin." Jerseys burned in parking lots. The celebration looked more like an intervention. And then came the national backlash. Stephen A. Smith labeled Stefanski's choices coaching malpractice. Dan Orlovsky openly questioned the Browns' legitimacy as contenders. Colin Cowherd devoted an entire segment saying Stefanski's job now hinges on unleashing Sanders. And rival GMs? They're circling. Calls are already going into Cleveland about potential trades, recognizing that a franchise cornerstone is wasting away. Ownership knows it too. Reports say Haslam, GM Andrew Berry, and Stefanski argued for nearly 2 hours after the game. Haslam demanded answers. Berry tried to play mediator. Stefanski doubled down. No resolution, only growing tension. And here's the cruel paradox. The Browns have built a championship roster everywhere, but quarterback. Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward on defense. Amari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy, and David Njoku on offense. A strong offensive line. Everything's in place, except the one man who can unlock it all remains sidelined. Shedeur Sanders isn't just hype. He entered the league with record-breaking college numbers, elite arm talent, mobility, leadership. He crushed training camp. He lit up preseason. He excelled in practice. And yet here we are, 20 straight games without meaningful snaps. That's not development. That's sabotage. Meanwhile, Flacco limps through stat lines that scream backup. Completion rate under 59%. Depth of target barely 6 yards. Third down conversion at 31%. Red zone efficiency bottom tier. Numbers that doom contenders in the AFC North. And the division isn't forgiving. Baltimore is rolling. Pittsburgh is stealing wins. Even Cincinnati, struggling, still looks alive. Cleveland, barely scraping past mediocrity. This offense isn't keeping pace. And make no mistake, this is bigger than football. Sanders represents ratings, revenue, relevance. Browns' preseason games with Sanders outdrew regular season broadcasts. Broadcasters want his story. Sponsors see dollar signs. He's both the competitive solution and the financial lifeline. Yet he's kept in chains. Inside the locker room, support is building. Myles Garrett has reportedly voiced it in private. Amari Cooper is frustrated. His prime years are slipping. David Njoku admits his role has been strangled by conservative passing. These players understand windows don't stay open forever. Cooper should be pacing for over 1,000 yards. He's on track for barely 700. That's not him, that's the scheme. Sanders could unlock him. Njoku too. A freak athlete built for red zone dominance, reduced to blocking and dump-offs. Sanders' aggressiveness could transform both careers. And the money? It's staggering. Garrett locked in at $125 million. Cooper cost premium picks and salary. Njoku's extension, Ward's contract, hundreds of millions invested. Yet revenue streams are slipping. Concessions down 12%. Merchandise down 8%. Season ticket demand shrinking. Corporate partners hesitating. Sanders' promotion could flip the script instantly, spike sales, fill the stadium, reignite belief. Television data proves it. Preseason games with Sanders averaged 2.3 million local viewers. Regular season games with Flacco slump to 1.7. That's not just a dip, that's a collapse. So here we are, staring at a crossroads. Stick with Stefanski's rigid philosophy and risk collapse, or unleash Sanders now, admitting past mistakes but igniting championship dreams. The storm is here. Haslam's patience is nearly gone. Barry is torn. Stefanski clings to a crumbling system. Coaches clash in meetings. Media swarms practice, dissecting every Sanders rep fan's protest outside the facility. Rival GMs circle, ready to pounce. And it's spreading across the league. The Cardinals have floated a second-round pick and a veteran QB. Carolina has hinted at a first-round swap. The Saints, chasing a playoff berth, have signaled interest. Sanders' agent is already weighing options, knowing that every wasted week stunts his growth. This is bigger than one ugly win over Green Bay. This is Cleveland's moment of truth. Either they free Shedeur Sanders or watch their championship window slam shut before their eyes. I've got to be honest, what's happening inside Cleveland right now goes far beyond play calling or simple game management. This is about a fractured system, an identity crisis, and a coaching staff that can't get on the same page. The divide is real. Offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey has reportedly pushed hard for Shedeur Sanders, frustrated that Joe Flacco's limitations completely neuter the playbook he designed. Dorsey's system thrives on quarterback mobility, accuracy in the intermediate lanes, and explosive shot plays. Those are all areas where Shedeur excels. But with Flacco under center, entire formations, situational schemes, and play packages are erased before the ball is even snapped. On the other side, defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz has voiced his concerns that offensive stagnation is putting his unit in impossible positions. Special teams coordinator Bubba Ventrone is seeing the ripple effect as well. More punts, worse field position, and fatigued coverage units that keep getting stretched thin. Everyone can see it. Shedeur's ability to sustain drives would instantly ease the stress across all three phases of the team. The tension doesn't stop with the staff. It's bleeding into the locker room. Players recognize talent gaps immediately, and there's no hiding the fact that Shedeur Sanders is the superior long-term option. Veterans know it, and the younger players are watching leadership closely. When coaching decisions fly in the face of obvious reality, chemistry begins to fracture. Myles Garrett's influence has been critical. He's reportedly pressed Shedeur's case in team meetings, and his voice carries beyond just the defense. Amari Cooper, with his season perspective, continues to work with Shedeur on timing and chemistry despite limited reps, which speaks volumes about where the locker room's faith lies. The urgency only intensifies with Pittsburgh on the horizon. The Steelers' defense, led by T.J. Watt's relentless edge pressure and Cam Hayward's pocket disruption, has studied Cleveland's offensive flaws extensively. Their schemes are designed to suffocate immobile quarterbacks. Rolling out Flacco against that unit feels like walking into an ambush. Shedeur's mobility, arm talent, and quick decision-making aren't just advantages, they're the only realistic antidote. Division stakes couldn't be higher. Pittsburgh is gaining momentum. Baltimore remains balanced and dangerous, and Cincinnati is finding rhythm again with Joe Burrow back at the helm. If Cleveland keeps stumbling through mediocrity, their chance at the division crown will disappear before November even arrives. And this is where pride collides with performance. Kevin Stefanski's authority is rooted in defending his system, even if that means ignoring Shedeur's clear superiority. To acknowledge Sanders as the better option would be to admit past missteps, something Stefanski seems unwilling to do. General Manager Andrew Berry faces a similar dilemma. Promoting Shedeur now validates his draft decision, but also highlights the mistake of keeping him on the bench this long. Every game Shedeur sits reflects poorly, not just on Berry's evaluation, but on Cleveland's entire roster-building philosophy. Meanwhile, fans have reached a breaking point. The relief of Sunday's narrow 13-10 win was short-lived, quickly replaced by outrage. Radio callers are furious, season ticket holders are launching petitions, and chants for Shedeur Sanders erupt inside the stadium after every stalled drive. The crowd only comes alive when the offense produces rare flashes of excitement, showing their hunger for dynamic play. A move to Sanders wouldn't just energize the offense, it would electrify the entire franchise brand overnight. The media hasn't let up either. ESPN, Fox, and NFL Network dedicate daily airtime to the saga. Stephen A. Smith has called Stefanski's decisions indefensible. Colin Cowherd has devoted entire segments to dissecting the dysfunction. Local reporters face tighter access restrictions, which only fuel speculation that the organization knows the criticism has merit. Behind closed doors, Brown's leadership fears the inevitable. Sanders' readiness is obvious. His sharp practices, his composure under pressure, his respect from teammates, these aren't the traits of a developmental project. They're the signs of a franchise quarterback. Every day he sits, the Browns not only sabotage their season but also waste precious time in Shedeur's growth and their championship window. The numbers scream the truth. Red zone completion percentage? Shedeur at 78%, Flacco at 61%. Intermediate yards per attempt? Shedeur 8.4, Flacco 6.1. QB rating under pressure? Sanders nearly 30 points higher. Third down conversion rates? Shedeur 68%, Flacco 41%. These are not opinions, they are hard facts. Yet Stefanski dismisses them as practice stats, clinging to the outdated notion that veteran presence outweighs raw ability. And the rest of the league is watching. The Ravens are designing blitz packages for stationary quarterbacks. The Steelers are built to crush pocket passers. The Bengals already acknowledge that Cleveland is far easier to defend with Flacco under center. Meanwhile, whispers circulate that teams like the Patriots are quietly monitoring the situation, knowing Cleveland is sitting on a franchise quarterback they refuse to use. The Browns now stand at a defining crossroads. Continue with the current path of mediocrity, alienating fans, fracturing the locker room, and wasting talent, or make the bold move. Start Shedeur Sanders. Take the risk. Embrace the upside. Every game Flacco starts is a wasted opportunity, another nail in the coffin of Cleveland's credibility. This isn't a new story for the Browns. History is filled with quarterback controversies where the obvious upgrade sat idle while the franchise clung stubbornly to mediocrity. Brandon Weeden over Johnny Manziel, Deshaun Kaiser over Baker Mayfield, and now Flacco over Shedeur Sanders. Sunday's narrow escape against Green Bay wasn't a triumph, it was a warning. It exposed every flaw in Cleveland's football culture: predictability over explosiveness, safety over ambition, mediocrity over championship risk-taking. Even the coaching staff can't ignore the data anymore. Reports say Ken Dorsey confronted Stefanski directly, armed with numbers proving Sanders' superiority in every meaningful category. Yet Stefanski still refuses to budge, hiding behind philosophy, while the rest of the NFL watches Cleveland sabotage itself. The breaking point is here. The Browns can either cling to pride and fade into irrelevance, or hand the keys to Shedeur Sanders and ignite a legitimate run at greatness. Every fan sees it. Every player feels it. Every analyst shouts it. Everyone knows the answer, except the one man with the headset. Time is running out. The choice is clear. Start Shedeur Sanders. Save the season. Restore credibility. And finally give this franchise the chance to chase the greatness it has been starving for.